And we're back. Howdy y'all, this is Ethan Bonreal, back at it again, giving you that gay shit you love while playing some more Earthbound. Last time we were here, we made it through the first leg of the Lost Underworld dungeon, ran out of psychic powers, and we beat up a boss with our bare hands, which was pretty fucking cool. I also talked about why I think sometimes gay guys can be really judgmental towards each other, and how that relates to the appeal of straight guys. This time around, we're gonna go ahead and punch some dinosaurs like I promised last time. And before I move further, man, that dinosaur's a little bit thick. You notice he's really dragging that wagon around, and it's real cute. It's so dopey looking too. I just really love how they're designed. Like, it just has such a dopey smile on its face, and honestly, that's what I'm like when I see myself in the mirror sometimes. I just give myself a dopey smile. It's a good way to save yourself from existential dread. And honestly, that's what I'm like when I look at myself in the mirror and notice I'm getting a little bit cakey, because I've had a pretty flat booty most of my life, but I'm starting to, I'm getting a little bit of a scoopful back there, and I'm really loving it. But, as far as the gay topic for today, because I'm ready to drop that gay shit on y'all, I'm going to talk about the idea of gay guys being especially horny and sex-driven, because that's a pretty pervasive stereotype that a lot of gay guys actually embrace or just treat as a fact. I'm going to challenge that a little bit. I think it's partially true, and I think it's partially not true, and I'll explain why. Plus, I'm also going to talk about the appeal of barebacking, or rather how common it is, because everyone and their mom barebacks now. Plus, where safe sex fits in. Sound good? Well, get into it. So, y'all are probably wondering how I'm doing, and the answer to that is just fine. I'm good, I'm gay, and I'm really feeling it, honestly. Because honestly, I'm just dreaming of that paycheck I'm gonna get, because it's gonna be extra juicy, because it's gonna be two pay periods wrapped together, because I started in between pay periods. So, I'm ready for it. I want that money, because I've just never had a check for more than like $250 before, and I'm excited. I'm gonna finally have money. And I have a long list of shit I want for myself. And the first thing I want, really, is to get medicated again, because if you're a long-term follower, you would know, I have really aggressive ADD, and I have not been medicated since my sophomore year of college. And honestly, I really need to be. It would increase the quality of my life a lot. But the problem with that is that the ADD medicine I was taking will make me extremely anxious when I take it with the antidepressants that I started. And so that combination is bad, because I'll start freaking out. And I actually freaked out so bad once that I dreamed there were... Not dreamed, honestly, I think I legit had an anxiety-induced... Look at that big-ass meme rock over there. This area is really fucking silly. We're gonna fight the meme rock, and honestly, me when I see ass. Have y'all ever been in public and just saw someone real cakey, and you just have to bite your tongue to stop yourself from just saying something? Because that's really how it feels. I literally legit just get the cartoon wolves when they see a lamb or something. My tongue almost falls out of my mouth, because it's so beautiful. Honestly, I'm about it. I just want it in my life. And for you, some people might worry about this, but I never really harass or oogle people in public, because that is something that is a little bit inappropriate in my opinion. I don't really like when guys do that. Some of the gays that I went to university with thought it was cute to basically I don't want to say street harass, but basically really aggressively flirt with straight guys, or, well, it's not even really flirt. I guess it is almost like catcalling. Basically just being sexually suggestive towards straight guys. And I understand part of the reason why, because it feels empowering to be the one in that position. But I still think that's a little bit... that's not okay. It's not okay to do that to strangers. But what I will do is have impure thoughts in the safety of my head. Because, man, I'm really gay. I love men. They're so fucking beautiful. I have a pretty wide variety of type I'm into, too. And I wonder if y'all ever think about that. Like, what kind of man does Ethan Bonreal like? And the answer is a juicy one. I love a juicy man. Juicy in all forms. I can't decide if I want to do this or not. We're gonna fuck around and do PSI Flash Omega and see if it one-shots this enemy, and we are going to just unload all over it and deposit that damage right into its goofy-ass looking face. This area really does make me crack up really bad, because it's just so fucking... they're so stupid looking, but they're so cute. But, the answer to that is, I don't know, I like a lot of different body types, and I like a lot of different physical appearances, and that's not even really an answer. Like, people say that all the fucking time. They're like, oh, you know, I just like some of everything, but what they really mean is that they just like a wide variety of different twinks or something like that. And, you know, that's valid, but I wish they'd be more straightforward. But, you know, okay, we need to stop doing this. So it has a power shield, which is reflecting our physical damage, so we just need to keep blowing it up with PSI abilities next time we see one, because we already murdered it to death. But I don't know. Honestly, I think I'm a good example of what I was talking about in the previous video. I'm attracted to guys who are basically what I grew up around, you know. I grew up around mostly black and Latino people, and that's mostly what I'm attracted to for the most part. But it's like, that's not really the limit of it. It's more like, that's kind of more what I automatically visualize when I see myself with someone. But, I mean, again, I don't really have, like, particular races in mind as far as, like, my ideal partner. Physically, I think my only really big physical turnoff is when someone has a really, really narrow face. Like, I think it's because I'm just, I'm descended from a group of people with just some really big old haunches and big ears and big noses. And so it's just like, when people don't have those traits, I'm like, wait a minute. Where's the rest of your face at? And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like, I don't know, it's a little bit surreal to me, because it's like, you know, when you grow up around people who all, like, you all have, like, a really strong family resemblance, it's easy to just kind of forget that, like, not every other human being is related to you, you know what I mean? Like, you forget that, you know, people have physical features that are very different from your own, and that's really what I'm feeling here. But other than that, it's not even really that big of a deal, because I've honestly been attracted to someone like that because we hung out a lot, and he was cute. He was really racist, though, so that ended up ending before it started, but also he was dating one of my friends, lol. But I'll talk about that another video, because I don't want to talk about that right now. Anyway, as far as Earthbound goes, so this is a really big-ass area. There's some big ol' dinosaurs out here. And what we need to do is, for one, get that sea pendant in probably Paula's hands, honestly, because she is really prone to dying abruptly. And also the night pendant is a really... oh, she can't fucking equip it. Damn it. Alright, we gotta give it to someone woker than her. So we are gonna give that probably to... I'm saying Jeff. I mean, he's really the only other person who can fucking use it. Although it could theoretically be better on Ness, because we're gonna use him to do some things in a bit here, but, like, it's kind of boring giving items to Ness, because he's, like, really several thousand leagues stronger than all the other characters. But anyway, we're gonna be fighting dinosaurs a lot real quick here, so... our goal is we are trying to get to the next section of the dungeon, but we have this interlude here where we're fighting all these dinosaurs. They're looking cakey as always, and we have to figure out why the hell there are dinosaurs here. And I'm gonna spoil it for you, because as much as Earthbound tries to have a plot, it doesn't really have a micro plot. It just has, like, a grand theme over the series, which if you watch my Mother 3 videos, you'll know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you now, because that's a way of encouraging you to watch those. And, so basically we're here for no reason. The creator just thought dinosaurs would be fucking cool, in my opinion. And that's fine, because we get to see cuties like that wetnosaur, and I'm all about it. I guess I could launch into my video topic for now, because we're already in fucking 10 minutes, and I haven't really talked about shit, I've just been saying random stuff, but, um, you know, the reason why I bring up the whole idea that gay guys are more sexual than other people is because this is, like, a really commonly held belief, like I was mentioning before. And I think it's commonly held because, again, I think that a lot of gay men don't necessarily know how to have a conversation about this, or like I don't want to be mean, but like we don't get to come together enough to have a conversation about this to inject some nuance into the discussion. So like when I go on like Reddit or like some other places that like where gay people can talk to each other, usually what people say is someone will make a topic being like, is monogamy dead in the gay community? And someone will be like, well, monogamy is actually fake because men are genetically programmed to just impregnate everything they're near. And everyone argues about that for like 100 comments, and then nothing gets resolved. And I would say it goes a little bit of a different direction in practice. And my opinion on that is basically that a lot of gay guys actually learn. So this is like a recap of several videos I've talked about. So the first point is that a lot of gay guys only see other gay guys in sexual terms because that is the context to which we interact with our sexuality. What I mean by that is that a lot of our first encounters with other gay people are either through porn or hookups. And so we don't just like have gay friends we meet. Most of our first contact with another gay person that's good is usually through sex or something sex related, like, or dating. We never just really learn to see each other as like just people. And while that might sound like kind of corny or mundane, this builds into something that I think is really significant, right? Because we have this idea that we are primarily sexual with each other only, and it creates the grounds for that being our primary interaction, right? So the thing that motivates us... Oh, I should probably read this dialogue. Hey, what are you doing inside our dinosaur cage? I'm gonna open the door. You get out there right now. I'm the boss, so I will let you out. Thank you for the tinderkraut. Nessa's tinderkraut was stolen. The awful smell surrounding the roof is gone now. Oh shit. Alright, we're in. So this is a rest stop. Basically, you can use this area to heal if you want. So I'll keep talking now. We basically have this idea the only reason why gay people should come and interact with each other is to have sex or find a boyfriend outside of, you know, being friends with each other. We just don't see that as an option. So that's the beginning of it. The other part of it is that I think a lot of us learn to see each other through our sexual value, and I've talked about this in a previous episode too. So I probably should read this dialogue too, I guess. Listen, Ness, I'm going to tell you something very important. You may want to take notes. Ready? You're the chosen one. Okay, I knew that. Your destiny is not only yours, it's the destiny of the whole universe. Okay, that's pretty cool. There will be a time at which all of you in the universe will overlap each other. Okay. It's not necessary to understand now. Do you remember the giant step in Onnet? That is one of your sanctuary locations. It is a spot which gives you power and allows you to realize all your skills. There's a monster that protected it. The monster was influenced by the power of the place. You must have beaten those monsters. You must reach all 8 of the power spots in the world. When the Soundstone records the melodies of all 8 power spots, you can finally see your world. I'll tell you all of the power spots. 1 giant step, 2 Lilliput steps in Peaceful Rest Valley, Milky Well, Raining Circle, Magnet Hill, Pink Cloud, and 7 Lumen Hall, where the Shining Lycan lives in the cave. And 8, a new place is now going to be opened up to you. Fire Spring, located southwest of here. Listen to the melodies of all 8 power spots. If you do not fail, you may upset Gygas's plans. Understand, Ness? The time will come. The time when the destiny of you and the whole universe will overlap. It is fast approaching. Okay, well, that was basically to remind us that the game had a plot, which is cute and all, but we already knew that because I told you that that's actually an illusion. The game has only a little bit of a plot, and that's valid. That's very valid, but it is an excuse for us to punch some dinosaurs, and I'm totally fine with that. Honestly, I'm probably pissing off. Like, if someone who really likes Earthbound watches this, they're probably gonna get really pissed off, and they'll be like, "Why is Ethan Bonreal acting like this game doesn't have a plot?" It's much deeper than punching big dinosaurs in the face. And you know that's valid, but like most of the game is really about the feelings you have towards it. It's not about the actual story, in my opinion. And that's my general philosophy towards games in general, because I don't really like games that are really super story-driven that much. In part because a lot of them are kind of corny to me. But anyway, let me jump back to what I was talking about. So, okay, your first note, if you're still listening to this, because I took a massive pause, is that we tend to see other gay people in sexual ways, primarily, because we only meet other gay people through hookups or to be potential boyfriends, right? We don't just hang out in a lot of cases, where a lot of us are isolated from each other. 2, because of that, and because of the conditions we live in, a lot of us only see ourselves as being valid when we are sexually attractive to other people, right? So, it is very hard to feel good about yourself if you are gay, if you are not sexy to someone. So, like, one of the things that makes a lot of us depressed is when we can't find a boyfriend, basically, because we're not basically beautiful and twink-like or super muscular. Does that make sense? I hope this is relatable, fam. And because of that, we tend to think of ourselves in terms of our sexual utility to other people. I talked about this in a previous video. So the 2 points so far are we see each other mostly in a sexual way, and we see mostly ourselves in terms of our sexual benefit towards others. This is why all of the gay cultural terms usually are sexual in some way. They either sort you by body type or sexual position. Makes sense? Thumbs up, thumbs up. And the third thing is basically this idea... how do I explain this? This idea that we tend to not... So this is an aspect of the other two things. Like, this is very related. We tend to use sex as a way to address loneliness. And what I mean by that is that a lot of gay guys tend to confuse being horny for being lonely and being lonely for being horny, because we don't know any other way of getting gay people to be around us. So, like, a lot of times on Grindr, you will see people asking to cuddle, and the stereotype is that they really want sex, but the answer is that they really just want to be near another person. And that's kind of sad, right? It's like, man, you're in this wretched hell app where you're just hanging around a bunch of people who are asking to have a whole foot shoved up their asshole, just looking to cuddle. And the whole reason you're there is not because you really necessarily want to cuddle or have sex so much as you just want human contact. And that is very, very, very sad. And that is why a lot of us end up resorting to have sex to make connections with people. So that's the third thing, is that we learn to use sex to make connections. So I'm going to repeat these 3 blips to you, and you can decide in your head if this makes sense or not. First, we see other gay people only in sexual terms because that's how we get introduced to gayness. 2, we see ourselves in terms of our sexual utility. That means we don't feel good about ourselves unless we're hot to someone. And then 3, we tend to use sex as a way to make connections with people because we often confuse being lonely for being horny. So, all that combined, it creates a group of people who have sex even when they're not horny sometimes, and that's really like ultra, like, that was galaxy brain moment for me. Like, when I realized that was what was going on, it blew my mind. And I realized that when I was like 17 or 18, I think. And I realized it in myself and other people I was around, because I went to high school with other gays. I mean, everyone did, but, like, we knew each other. We interacted with each other. And I looked back in my life, and I was like, holy shit, that's what everyone was doing. Like, we were just all really lonely, depressed homosexuals. And we were using, basically, sex as a way to get connections with people, because we didn't think people would want to be friends with us if we weren't having sex with them. And it was just eye-opening to me. Because it's like, I remember a lot of times when I get on Grindr, and a lot of times when I actually hook up with people, it's not because I really am horny, it's because I'm depressed, honestly. It's because I'm depressed and I'm really desperate for human contact. And if you can relate to that, I would love to see someone say something in the comments, because it's like, I do that, and I know some people that I know do it, but I really hope that makes sense to y'all, because I really strongly believe that's something a lot of us do. But we're gonna save the game here. We're not ending the video quite yet. So, oh shit, man, we talked a lot about that. So now that I've established, hopefully in your mind, why it is the way things are, that people will, actually, a good... This is a way I learned it was basically that a lot of us would rather be like a cum dumpster than alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course there's physical pleasure in having sex and it's enjoyable, but like, it's just the easiest way to make a connection with someone in a lot of cases. And I think the idea that we see each other for sexual utility and see ourselves in terms of our sexual utility is, like, really evident in the way we do a lot of things. Like, something that always frustrated me when I was playing games, or, like, see lists of, like, hot game characters, or, like, good gay characters in games, is it's basically just, like, people's explanation for why they're a good gay character is basically that they're hot, or that they're attracted to them, not that they're relatable as people. It's like, it's totally about that sexual dynamic, and that really always irritated me, because it's like, how do I use this? So those geysers are supposed to heal us. I don't know how to actually use it, because I want to heal before we go into this next area, which is why I'm walking back and forth here. There we go. Can we do it now, Mom? No. There we go. Okay, we got it. Alright. Woo, hype. Okay, so now our HP and PP is ticking back up, so I'm going to wait for that to happen. And, that just always really deeply bothered me, that we're basically establishing that this character is a good character, that it's good gay representation, because this person is just hot to me specifically. Not that this person is like a character that's relatable. It's because we don't really always learn to see each other that way. We don't learn to see each other necessarily as humans. And that really, it breaks my heart a little bit. And I think about that a lot too in my daily life, but I need to move on. We got some other topics to talk about. So incidentally, part of the reason, I would say this is also part of the reason why barebacking is so prevalent. And actually, I'll back up a little bit more. I think the fourth, like, hidden reason that a lot of us have sex the way we do and as frequently as we do when we're able to is partly because it's a way to basically avoid dealing with our problems. And this is not, like, just a gay thing. None of these things I'm saying are actually even really that specific to gay people. I'm just using the gay angle as a way of explaining it within a certain group of people. So in other words, if this doesn't apply to you, that's totally fine, because to an extent, all of these things apply to everyone a little bit. It's just... there are specificities for gay people, so of course straight people fucking have sex all the time. That's why there's so many goddamn people on this planet. I'm trying to basically explain how homophobia can promote these kind of behaviors. But, anyway, holy shit, we're getting fucked up, but we should be able to kill this thing. Yeah, we killed it. Homophobia is basically, in my opinion, the root cause of all of this. And the end result is that fourth thing I was talking about. It's like existential dread and just basically being depressed, and that, you know, in a lot of cases, we're basically using the pleasure of sex to not deal with the crushing reality of being an oppressed group of people. Some of us. And that's why I think some of us engage in risky sex to the degree that we do. Because, you know, when you have something that's paining you so bad that it like takes up all of your energy. Like, if you're so depressed that, like, you basically can barely function, if sex makes you feel better, it is very easy to just impulsively do it in any sort of way as temporary relief for that. So, like, you know, when people bareback a lot, I think we tend to look at them very cruelly and be like, wow, this is like a really dirty person. But we don't really ever see this as, you know, this person might actually have something like going on with them. Like, they might be very sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why people do the things we are. And if you immediately jump to say, wow, this is just a bad or dirty person, you can miss out on a lot. And I really strongly believe that, because when you feel your life is worthless or that you're not a good person, it's very easy to do self-destructive things like that. Or if you're like really desperate even to make a connection with someone, like I was talking about before, like, you know, honestly, I'm pretty sure a lot of my friends bareback. And part of the appeal is that it keeps guys around. Like, you know, if a guy knows you'll bareback with them, it can make them come back, honestly, because you have an edge against people who won't bareback. And that's really sad to me. I mean, also it feels better, TBH. And I'll be real, I've had unprotected sex a few times. When I was younger, when I first started having sex, I had unprotected sex a lot, because I was basically like, condoms, I don't need those, I can't get pregnant, XD. But now I'm grown and I know better, and I think in my adult life I have only had unprotected sex 2 or 3 times. Let me see, I'm trying to think. The first time I did it, a guy basically was just like, can you just stick it in me so that I can come? Because I had actually decided I was not gonna come, and he was just like, can you just put it in? Because, like, I need dick in me to get off. And I was like, okay, I guess I can do that. And I did it, and it was fine. I was a little paranoid for a week, but I was also like, you know, I'll just get tested, because it's like, I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to be a bad example, but it's like, I felt that my risk wasn't that high at that point in time. And in reality, your risk is always up in the air, because it's like, if you're having unprotected sex and you're having sex with someone whose sexual history you don't know, there's always a risk, and I'm gonna be really real with you about that. But I did it, whether or not I should have, and it was basically, in part, because I was just, I almost want to say I was being polite, because he just asked me and he really wanted to, and I was like, I felt bad because I couldn't, you know, finish. And so, you know, I did it. But, you know, in other cases, it's just kind of happened, I don't want to say spontaneously, but it's happened when I was not prepared, and that's actually a really good way to say it, because, like, the other times it's happened, it's basically been like, the other person said they had condoms, and they only had one, and then I used both of them, or I used the condoms, and, like, we just had to start again, because, you know, condoms break sometimes, or you just need to go put on a new condom, and they were like, oh, I don't have any more. And because I didn't prepare and bring my own, we basically were left in a position where it was easy to have unprotected sex, because we didn't have any condoms left. Now I don't do that no more. I always make sure that I just bring my own condoms too. so that I don't even end up in that situation, which is the best way to protect yourself, honestly. Like, even if the other person says they have them, bring your own condoms and lube, because it's a really easy way not to put you in a position where you're gonna wanna bareback. But anyway, um, like I was saying, I think part of the appeal is that it mechanically feels better, so it's hot, right? It's hot. Decidedly, it is sexy to bareback. And you just really have to not do it because you have to think of yourself. Like, you have to have that future empathy for yourself and not and be like, I'm not gonna really gamble with my own safety just because I'm horny or I'm sad, really. Because that's one of the key things about being depressed, is that it's really easy not to think about the future. It's easy to think about the immediate present because you want to feel better immediately. And in that way, barebacking is very similar to like doing a lot of drugs, really. And actually, that's a bad way of putting it, because it's not exactly the same, but it's like it's looking for something to make you feel better when you don't necessarily feel good about yourself. And that's that on that. Other than that, where STIs fall in, guys will do everything in their pressure to get you to bareback with them. Everything in their power to try to get you to bareback with them. I've had guys legit rage that I refuse to like stick it in them raw. I have had guys just like basically try to trick me into barebacking them. They'll be like, basically they'll say they have condoms, and I'll show up and they'll be like, oh no, XD, I actually forgot I didn't have them. And I was like, that's cool, we don't have to have anal sex. And then they just got really mad because they were like, but you were supposed to bareback me, like my trap was perfect, what the fuck. And I like, outside of those 2 times I mentioned, I just never go for it because I don't want to gamble with myself in that way, because ultimately I'm trying to think about my own future now, which is such a bizarre thing because I didn't really believe I had a future when I was younger, But I should probably end this fucking video. I've been recording for 32 fucking minutes. I really hope this video didn't sound like it was full of shit. And you can tell that's something that I'm a little anxious about, because I always say that at the end of like every other video. And I think it's going to be my goal to say that less now, because I realize that's my insecurity speaking, and I really need to do something to address that. And not address it just by not saying it, but also by actually thinking about why I feel that way. Because the reality is I know my experiences are a lot different from a lot of you. And I also know that a lot of people can be very hostile towards the things I'm saying, because a lot of us really, if you like my commentary, that's cool, but I promise you there are a lot of people in the world who think the idea that I am talking about gay people in this way is very bad, and it's mostly other gay people. Because they definitely, I've experienced this in person, will think I'm basically trying to make gay people look bad, or that I'm a threat to them because I am basically saying gay people are different from straight people in some way because we have unique problems. And that's always very disheartening to deal with. Because it'll be people who are like suffering from the problem that I'm talking about. Like, it'll be like old bareback and Jackson from the dorm across the hall, and he'll just be like, actually, gay people are all super happy, and then they'll be like posting on Facebook crying about boys that don't love them, and then advertising for like their cum dump party the next week, and see just zero correlation between those things. But anyway, in the meantime and between time, I'm Ethan Bonreal, and I'm gonna be Ethan Bon Gone in just a bit. I actually skipped an item that we desperately needed. So off screen I'm gonna get it, and I'm also gonna talk more about the game next part. I think that is a nice compromise. But in the meantime and between time, I'm Ethan Bonreal. I'm gone, I already said that, but I'm out for real, so bye y'all.